Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, man killed, woman injured in Mandeville shooting. The driver of a Mark X motor car was shot dead and a woman wounded on West Road in Mandeville on Sunday night. Relatives named the deceased as Roisin Young, a resident of Newhall in Manchester. Preliminary reports are that about 9:50 p.m., Young was driving the vehicle with 3 passengers on board. The motor car reportedly came under gunfire as it stopped on West Road in the vicinity of Knowles Circle. 2 of the passengers reportedly ran from the car into bushes to escape the attack. Further reports are that Young and a female passenger sustained gunshot wounds before the vehicle crashed into a yard. Young and the injured female were taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead while the woman was admitted for treatment. Young's grandmother said she saw him about 6 p.m. and gave him his Sunday dinner. When he came, it was just about to get dark. When I gave him the dinner, I said to him, "Eat the food and full your belly," and me and him stand up and talk. He then left and said he was going back to the bar. Family business, she said. After him left, his brother came to the house and dropped down on the car and said, "Roisin dead." I said to him, "You're joking," the distraught grandmother added. His death comes within 24 hours of a double murder in Craighead, Manchester. Councillor raises alarm over disease threat in cotton tree post the hurricane burial. Councillor for the Portamarante Division of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, Dinsdale Smith, has expressed a concern over a possible disease outbreak in cotton tree in Portamarante. Councillor Smith says following the passage of Hurricane Beryl, the area has been impacted by floodwaters that have not run off. Councillor Smith was speaking at the recent monthly meeting of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, said the situation has been compounded by the broken water main in the area. Meanwhile, Medical Officer of Health in St. Thomas, Dr. Oyen Smith, says the situation is a public emergency and it needs to be urgently corrected before there is a disease outbreak.
Water situation there is dire, but Curtis Bottom has a lake, I call it the Portland Lake. I've been heralding, bawling and begging for attention for us to drain that particular space. And during this hurricane, we had a reactive operation of trying to clean the drains there. And in doing so, the damaged water pipe that comes from Apple Farm that feeds the entire Curtis Bottom. That pipe being broken, it was bound up. The piece that is not being used is in that filthy water. According to the NWC, you cannot approach that until that water is gone, because some of your workers started getting skin reactions from the water just touching it.
Forced statements of regret have no basis in law and violate constitutional rights, warned attorney at JFJ. There are growing concerns about the recording and release of what appeared to be coerced apologies from individuals accused of wrongdoing by the authorities, with critics suggesting that the practice may infringe upon their constitutional rights. The latest public apology came last week from Calvin Campbell, the man believed to have been operating an overloaded vehicle while seated in the lap of a passenger. Campbell apologized for the act reported while in the custody of the Transport Authority and was slapped with several charges. But one attorney at law believes that such apologies are insincere and pointless and that the practice should be discontinued. Additionally, he observed that many of these recordings occur while the accused is seated within the confines of an authority's office, often with a demeanor suggesting that they have been directed to apologize before being permitted to leave. This raises questions about the motive of the recordings, which often end up going viral on social media. An apology is not confined to anything under the Road Traffic Act or anything under the Transport Authority Act. There is, as far as I know, nothing under any act in Jamaica that can impose any such authority, whether it's a police or transport authority. Not even a judge can insist on anyone apologizing as part of the penalty or sanction which they can impose, the attorney who requested anonymity told the news on Sunday. Now, if someone wishes to voluntarily apologize for something that they have done or that they ought to have done which wasn't done, then they can do so, and in doing so, an authority such as the judge or the transport authority can take that into account in determining what the appropriate sanction ought to be, he added. The attorney emphasized that the whole concept of an apology is that it must be voluntary and sincere, not seemingly forced. If someone has been forced to apologize, it defeats the entire purpose of it, he said. In a press release last Thursday, the Transport Authority said that Campbell was taken into custody after a joint operation with the Jamaica Constabulary Force and charged with several offenses, including dangerous driving. It added that the vehicle was examined by the Island Traffic Authority and found in breach of the standard for public passenger vehicles. Transport Authority Managing Director Ralston Smith added that he was considering other actions against Campbell in accordance with the suspension and revocation policy. The News' attempts to speak with Merdina Column of the Transport Authority's Corporate Communications Department on the circumstances of the video were unsuccessful. In the apology video, Campbell stated that he was with the Transport Authority and labeled the incident as a careless and reckless act before apologizing with 2 PPV license plates on a desk before him. Less than a month ago, another motorist was also captured on footage apologizing for his misdeeds in what appeared to be a police station. The man had previously recorded himself hurling verbal abuse at the 2 cops who had reportedly stopped him and requested a search. The trend, however, began with Dean Mitchell, who was forced to apologize in April 2020 after a video went viral in which he disrespected Prime Minister Andrew Holness while breaking a curfew order. Since then, there have been several such videos. When the News contacted Stephanie Lindsay, head of the Corporate Communications Unit of the JCF, she said the most recent issue with Campbell was not on the part of the JCF. She added that the police had previously addressed the matter of recording apologies. In July 2021, the Police High Command admitted to several missteps after the arrest of a St. Ann man who had also disrespected Holness and a subsequent apology video. Back then, Lindsay agreed that the police were wrong to force the man to apologize and posted the video on social media. Jamaicans for Justice Executive Director Michael Jackson also questioned the practice. Occasionally, one may see an offender utter an apology voluntarily in the hopes of reducing the punishment to be meted out to him or to express remorse for harm done. However, voluntary is key here, given the constitutional privilege against the self-incrimination, she told the News on Sunday. In other words, an accused person cannot be forced to make statements or admissions that could be self-incriminating. This principle of law is entrenched in Jamaica's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. If a public statement was issued following any intimidation or force, it would be a clear breach of citizens' constitutional rights, added Jackson. While not speaking to the latest incident, as there is no evidence or statement from the accused that he was forced to speak, Jackson issued a general reminder that in the execution of any lawful arrest, the authorities, especially the police, must respect the rights of citizens, such as cautioning the offender of his or her rights, particularly the right to remain silent. We remind that no questioning is to commence until and unless there is an attorney. Otherwise, the civil liberties of the accused or offender would have been undermined, she said. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.